How's it going, guys? Dave here from Black Stump Ballistics, and today we're going to talk about how your choice in factory ammunition might be affecting your performance on the range. It stands to reason that not all ammunition is made the same, and it's pretty sage old advice from any firearms dealer that when setting up a new rifle, you try a couple of different boxes of ammunition off the shelf. As silly as it may sound to a new shooter, not all rifles like all ammunition. And that's something that became really apparent to me while setting up my Weatherby Vanguard 223. For regular viewers, you've seen this rifle before, and in this video we're going to take it for a shoot with 10 different factory loads, and we're going to see what it likes. One point that I really want to stress at this point in the video is that just because a load works well in your mate's rifle, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work well in your rifle. And just because one round costs more than another, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to perform any better. We're actually going to see this demonstrated quite well later in the video, so stick around. Now, it stands to reason that whenever you're doing any kind of load testing like this, that you control all of the external variables and get the most stable shooting platform you possibly can. You don't need a cradle or a lead sled necessarily, and I actually managed to do this quite well with my Bipod. Now, this is a Boscabel Bel-Loc Bipod. It's made right here in Perth, Western Australia, and I've been a big fan of the system for quite a long time now. Full disclosure, this is a demonstration model from Corey, and I am going to be producing a review video of this system a bit further on down the track, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, I've currently got my Boscabel set up with the rubber cushioned feet that come with the standard kit, and I'm using the green lightweight springs. Now, I have tried heavier springs in this rifle and bipod setup, but I've found that because my barrel is fairly short, I don't really need the heavier springs. I was also going to use the flat magnetic feet for this video, but I found that the rounded rubber cushion feet allowed me to load into the lip of the table, giving me a little bit of extra stability. Anyway, let's set this bipod up into the static mode and get shooting. First up, I'm going to lock the legs into the 45-degree position, unlock the axis, allowing a little bit of lateral movement in the legs, and unlock the cant, allowing you to make full use of that plus or minus 17 degrees of cant. Next up, extend the legs, adjust their height, and lock them back into place. The eccentric locking cams will allow you to get the perfect height every time. Pop a shooting bag under the butt, get comfortable behind the rifle, and once you've found that perfect sweet spot, lock the axis and cant in place. You've now got a perfectly stable shooting platform that is both portable and attached to your rifle. But enough talking, roll the music. So, as you can see, those Remington Premier Match rounds are doing a pretty good job with this rifle, as we've seen before. But it's interesting to note that even though they're shooting the same bullet, and a pack of them costs a lot more than the Remington Premier Match, those Federal Gold Medal Match aren't doing quite as well. Now, that isn't to say that the Gold Medal Match aren't a good round, because I reckon they're fantastic. But my rifle just didn't like them. Now, if the Gold Medal Match were the only round available for my rifle, I could probably get that group size down by using a muzzle tuner or some other tuning device, and this would affect the harmonics of my rifle to suit the ammunition. None of those 55 grain soft points did particularly well on paper, but that's not unusual and they're just hunting rounds anyway. However, what I reckon was the most interesting result out of this whole shoot was those Winchester 64 grainers. Now, my rifle, having a 1 in 9 twist rate, is supposed to do fairly well when it comes to longer and heavier projectiles, like that 64 grainer, but stability isn't the only factor, and my gun just didn't like them. That isn't to say they're a bad round, and they probably do quite well in some rifles, but they just didn't in mine. It might also be worth noting that I have shot this round in the past, and I've had even worse results. Again, it's probably not the round, it's probably just my fussy rifle. So anyway, what's the takeaway from all this information, and how can you apply it to your own shooting? Well, your first port of call is always your dealer. If you've got a fussy rifle like mine, tell them about it. Bring them some targets, tell them about the specifics of your rifle, and let them recommend you something. They've almost certainly had the same issue with a past customer, and probably have a pretty good idea of what might work. I probably never would have tried that Remington Premier Match, and apparently it's the best thing I can get. You might also want to consider some sort of tuning device for your barrel or your muzzle, but ultimately, for the best control at the range, you can't beat loading your own ammunition. Anyway, folks, thanks again for joining us on Black Stump Ballistics, and I hope this video helps one or two of you out. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel and check me out on Facebook, and otherwise, see you on the next video.